Bucks certainly ready for the season to resume and, of course, try to get that third ring. On pace to do so. Friend of the show, the Lakers, Danny Green, with us now. Danny, so good to see you and have you with us. Thanks for being here.
Same. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. It's a great start to the morning.
Of course. Yeah, we've been talking all morning about this June 1st, potentially players would be returning and the guidelines that would come with that. I know you're one of the player reps. What do you think the league's going to approve at that point?
Well, we have a couple of good signs moving forward as of right now. Some facilities are opening up. Guys are getting some individual work. Hopefully within the next week or two, we can get some group work in. But it looks like we have, multiple options for locations, but I think leaning toward Orlando and Disney to where it's the safest. So at that point, we probably have, obviously the playoff teams, and then who knows how they're going to do with 7, 8, 9. They might have a play-in series, playoff type of games, and maybe, a couple exhibition games for us to outside of training camp to get back in shape before the playoffs start. But and taking it day by day and seeing how it goes, depending on when we can resume. And obviously, the earlier resume, the more time that we have, and we're able to do more regular season games or more exhibition games. But if it takes a little longer, then we might have to jump straight into playoffs.
How desperately do you guys need a couple of weeks before playoff action begins in terms of conditioning? I know you got to get together to sort of redevelop the chemistry that you had before play was suspended. But from a conditioning perspective, how desperately do you guys need that window of time before postseason action begins?
It's crucial, man. Very, very important, so that nobody gets seriously injured. For guys to get back in playing shape, we need at least 2 or 3 weeks. If guys are actually able to do some type of working out, most guys aren't able to get on the court or in the gym. But if they're doing some running around the hills, the beaches, or the streets, however they're getting some conditioning in, they won't be that far out of shape. And if they are that far out of shape, they're going to need at least 3 to 4 weeks. But we're going to need at least 2 weeks of playing time or some training camp to be able to get back into playing shape to where it's safe to say guys can play healthily a good minutes without injuring themselves.
Danny, when you and Kawhi go from the Spurs to the Raptors, I'm like, well, there's 40% of a championship starting five, and sure enough, it works out. And then Kawhi goes to the Clippers. I was expecting you to go to the Clippers, and you wind up on the Lakers, and have since said that there's no stopping Kawhi Leonard. So if you guys meet in the West, and you're an excellent defender, like the prototypical seasoned 3-and-D championship wing, 25 minutes a game, 5 threes a game, you're going to hit 40% of them, the whole thing. How are you guys going to stop Kawhi Leonard if and when you guys meet?
Well, it's not just him that is unstoppable. There's a lot of guys in this league that you're not going to stop. You can contain them. So the best bet, especially in the playoffs, is try to contain, most teams' all-stars or their superstars and limit their role players. So we do the best we can as a group, not just individually, but to contain him and to limit his touches as much as possible, limit his makes, and obviously hope that he has an off day, just like they hope the same with AD and Bron. They try to limit their touches and hopefully that they have an off day, and try to limit their role players around them, so they don't want other guys getting off. And obviously we want to try to limit Paul and Lou Williams and Trez. And I think the difference makers in the playoffs is really not them. It's the guys that step up with the X factors that you have. There's 2 or 3 role players on each team that could change the series.
Obviously I consider, and I think most people who know basketball consider LeBron James and Anthony Davis 2 of the top 5 players on the planet. But I think that in order for the Lakers to win a championship this year, and I felt this way before play was suspended, I feel this way now, LeBron has to be your best player. Anthony Davis is great. We know what he's going to bring to the table, but the facilitator that LeBron is and all the elements of basketball that he brings to the table, I think in order for you guys to win, it's pivotal that he's that guy. I understand we're playing with semantics considering the greatness of the two, but where do you fall in that line of thinking in terms of knowing that both of them are incredibly crucial, but understanding that LeBron has to be that guy? Your thoughts?
I agree, 100%, Steve. We got to have him because mainly he's our point guard. He's our facilitator. It starts with him. He's a mismatch problem all over the floor, and he's got to be able to read the pace of the game, read what's best for us against certain teams. And so he's got to be at his best. He's got to be healthy, and playing well. Not just him, but AD, of course, too, very crucial. But it definitely starts with him. He's our engine. He's the MVP of the league, in my opinion. But also said our role players are going to be key for us. We have a very deep team, a lot of depth. So guys like Kuz, Avery Bradley, myself, we're going to need KCP. We're going to need those 4 guys in our group to be able to have a good night, at least throughout the playoffs, one night throughout the playoffs.